Okay.
Yay.
All right. Thanks, Misty. Appreciate it. Oh man, we'll get it. We'll get it. This is my first like interview on Facebook. I've never done a split screen before, so I'm learning as we go. So Angela, like I said, she's my sister. I don't know if you can tell. We kind of look a little bit alike. Um,
A little
she's
bit.
been a nurse practitioner for 15 years. She's certified in functional medicine, also working on her fellowship in herbal medicine. Did I get it right?
You got
Okay, good. And I'm sure
it.
there's a long list of other things too that I'm
Nah.
missing, but yeah, I thought given the environment that we're in, this would be a great um, thing to talk about as far as immunity goes and all of the fun things that go with functional medicine. So I think the first thing we should probably talk about is what is functional medicine. I get that question a lot. How, like, what's the difference between that and just your conventional medicine and that sort of thing. So if you want to
Yeah.
chat about it.
Yeah. Well, functional medicine is, everyone tries to make it such a different thing entity, but it's actually basically just looking at health problems with a different light. So it's, instead of looking at a patient with just a set of symptoms and how, what pill can I give for this symptom or how do we treat that, it's looking at the person as a whole, unique person, trying to find a cause of whatever is going on with their health problems. So maybe they need to get rid of something, toxins, allergens,
Yeah.
micro, diet, stress. I mean, we can go crazy with that, but it's also what they need to be putting into their body or to be doing to thrive. So functional medicine, just, I guess, like I said, just trying to find that root cause and incorporating not just Western medical, medicine, we're integrating together.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to focus on prevention through nutrition, diet, exercise. I work in a functional medicine office now too, and we do a lot more in-depth labs than maybe a regular doctor would do.
Yeah.
So we're to get to the root problems, like I said, of everything. And then when we're prescribing, we're not just prescribing regular medicines, which we still do.
Yeah.
Those, but maybe we'll prescribe herbs or supplements or something to kind of enhance that. We might prescribe detoxification programs or other diets or stress management, breathing, believe it or not.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
okay. I've been trying to learn a little bit more about that too. So it's kind of interesting, but a whole nother topic.
exactly.
So, what got you into functional medicine? Like, why did you decide to go that route?
Good question. Probably a really long answer, but in short, I started, okay, we're going to go way back, but my first jaunt into school, I wanted to be a nutritionist or a dietitian. I really, really wanted to be sports nutritionist actually. And somehow I got out of that. I did get a bachelor's in nutrition, but I ended up getting into nursing. So I became a nurse. Then when I first got out of school, I worked in the ICU. And I don't know if any of you have worked in the ICU or been around any patients in the ICU, but it's pretty devastating every single day. Just, you do anything. And people were dying for no reason. I mean, that wasn't always the story, but it was, most of the people in there were, I mean, they're there for a reason. They were critical. And I wanted to be able to make a difference. And at that point, I wasn't making a difference anymore. So I decided I wanted to go back to school to become a nurse practitioner because I thought, hey, there, I can intervene. I can be preventative. I can teach people how to eat right and help them so they don't end up in the ICU.
Get to that point. Yeah, like kind of the last chance.
So I did. I became a nurse practitioner and unfortunately didn't find that I was able to do that as much as I had wanted. I wasn't taught, hey, you should look at the person's diet. Hey, you should really spend time talking to them about, what's going on. I was more focused on, okay, they came in with a headache. What can I give them to stop this headache?
Fix the problem.
So, yeah.
Or fix the symptom, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying every doctor does that, but that's what I was doing. was not happy. And I was, I think probably like anyone else, I got to a point where I was working way too much.
Yeah.
Every Friday I had a fever and I couldn't do anything all weekend. I was just exhausted because I was just doing, and not ever just being like taking care of me. I was over exercising. I was a single mom. I was doing everything. So anyways, I started looking into ways to help myself. And in doing that, I discovered functional medicine. And so from that point on, it's just been a passion of mine, is to be able to help people like that. Like, okay, I need to take more time and be able to find ways to help them so that they don't keep coming to see me in healthcare for the same reasons over and over and over again. And I keep giving them a different pill, but it's not helping them.
Yeah.
So, like I said, that was a very long answer to a simple question.
No, but honestly, I think that you needed to say all that to get to that point.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I feel like a lot of people end up in something they're passionate about based on personal experience, like yourself. Like you were trying to fix something that you were struggling with. And once you kind of figured out, you're like, hey, I can help other people the same way. So that's what I want to do. Yeah. So that's awesome. Okay. So I do want to talk about immunity. I know, given the environment that we're in a pandemic. We're about to enter into flu season. So what, as you know, as a functional medicine, I don't know what you say, functional medicine practitioner, what sorry, I'm still learning all the jargon here. What do you recommend people do right now to keep their immunity up as we go through the next couple of months?
Yeah, it's a loaded question.
It is. So take your time.
Well, everyone wants this like magic pill,
right?
Or prescription. Like, what can I do?
Yeah.
There's not one single thing you can do, but there are many things you can do. And so, I mean, obviously, the elephant in the room is COVID-19, and we've been dealing with this for a really long time. And I work in urgent care also, and I have seen my fair share, and it's been a struggle for everybody. But, you know, the measures that everyone's talking about, you know, prevention is really key. You know, obviously washing hands and everything.
Yeah.
But the main thing I like to focus on is, okay, so you've done all this stuff to prevent, but what happens when you do get sick with anything, whether it's COVID or flu or strep or a cold, because there's still colds out there.
Yeah.
Like, what happens when that happens? How does your body react? And believe it or not, you do have some control over that. Mm-hmm. We're all on a different level. We all have different chronic medical problems and whatnot. So you have to start with where you are. But I will tell you that you can start with the basics and improve where you are. So first thing I always like to comment on is sleep. Why? Because we all need it.
Yeah.
And
especially now.
Yeah. I feel like that's the simplest thing that a lot of people skip.
Yep.
You know, they are like, oh, well, I'm going to stay up and play on my phone or play my whatever, watch my last show.
Enjoy my personal time while my kids are asleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah. If you did anything for yourself, is make sure you're getting at least 6 to 8 hours every night. I mean, that is the time when your body's supposed to be repairing. It's when your immune system can kind of kick back in, reset, and do its thing. So I know a lot of people will balance out, or I guess I should say trade off. I mean, I'm one of those people where I love to get up super early. And so I do have to talk myself into sleeping in sometimes.
Sorry.
Which is
Bear is breathing. My dog, for those of you that don't know, I'm in my office, which is like a closet, and my dog follows me everywhere. Poor thing. I'm his mama. He's 14 years old, and he has a laryngeal paralysis, so he has a hard time breathing. So that snort, can you hear him?
A little bit.
He's in here with me, and he's breathing heavily. So,
well, maybe that's move into our next topic, breathing.
Oh, yes.
Or Stress, actually, it's stress.
Stress. Yeah.
Stress is huge, and breathing is really important. So thanks, Bear.
Yep.
But yeah, stress is one of the topics I was going to talk about anyways, because obviously in today's society, not only do we have the stress of like COVID, but we have just our our United States of America stressors of
right.
doing things. Like we have to do everything.
Right.
We don't ever take time for ourselves.
No. Well, virtual school, we just got through an election year. People are working from home, and I mean, lots of new stresses this year that we didn't see coming. So yeah, absolutely. People are very stressed right now. That's not helping immunity at all.
No, and it actually dries up inflammation. And so since we brought up COVID, obviously one of the big problems with COVID is inflammation. Okay. And it's your body's inability to stop the inflammation. We all need inflammation. We need a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But our system has to be able to stop it when it's going crazy. And with COVID, that's been a big problem. So stress is a huge driver of inflammation. So whether it's now or in 10 years, you need to really focus on to reduce your stress. And that could mean all sorts of things: yoga, meditation, deep breathing. Doing nothing,
which I know we're guilty of doing that. So getting comfortable with some Netflix or something.
Yeah.
I don't even know. A good book. It's hard to do, but it's okay to give yourself permission, especially if you're stressed out. So easier said than done for some people, but
actually been my week's intention, is trying to focus on stress reduction. And maybe so every morning this week I wake up and I don't do anything first. I usually wake up and go straight down and work, but I've been trying. It's hard to not do that, and I will either journal for a few minutes or I'll set intention, just something calming for a few minutes, just because I know that the rest of my day is already going to be a little bit chaotic. So that few minutes in the morning. So for you guys watching, I mean, you just need to figure out for you what it takes to implement something that's going to help lower.
Really relax. Yeah. I do lots of Epsom salt baths. In fact, I did one, I don't know, last week in the middle of the day. It was like on a Tuesday at 2 p.m. I mean, why not?
That's great. Yes.
I needed to relax, so that's what I did, and it worked. But so
great idea. So other things that I would recommend. First off, if you don't exercise, you should.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys talk about that all the time in your faster way.
Yeah.
But as you do with everything we've talked about so far.
We talk about rest. That's actually been a really big topic this week, and my new clients are learning all about that and stress and how it's important to get enough sleep and stuff. But exercise for sure, and it doesn't have to be 3 hours or even an hour. It can be 30 minutes, or it could just be a walk, but just something to move. Yeah,
exactly. And actually, when we're talking about immune building, doing too much, like you mentioned, is contraindicated. So that will actually suppress your immune system. But doing mild to moderate exercise on a regular basis will help boost your immune system. So
okay, cool.
I will say probably my main focus for immune support is going to be nutrition.
Okay.
Just because you think about it, like we were talking about before, you want to prepare your body for what happens when some virus or whatever comes in your body. How does your body handle it? Well, the only nutrients your body gets like to fight with are what you put in your mouth.
Yeah.
That's it. And so if you are constantly putting in sugar and processed food and just lower quality foods, you're not going to be supplying your body with those phytonutrients that are like powerhouses when it comes to turning on your immune system.
Yeah.
So, number one, avoid sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar is actually studies show that the second you eat refined sugars, it will suppress your immune system for several hours after you ingest it. So
I've not heard that, but that's good. That's good motivation to know when I'm
yeah,
about to put that cookie in my mouth or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned that with alcohol, you're
Problems after you eat that thing.
I know. I mean, I've heard that with alcohol, your body,
Yeah.
everything stops and it immediately will go to try and process the alcohol. So any fat burning, any of that just stops. But
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that with sugar and the immune system. So
Yeah.
that's a motivation for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead, obviously you want adequate protein. Protein's essential. We don't see it as much. I mean, most people do get enough protein, but vegans and elderly people don't necessarily.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a really, really hard time recovering from illness or fighting off an illness if you are protein deficient. So,
Okay.
I mean, making sure you're doing that. And then, I mean, I can never talk about eating enough vegetables. I mean, it's constant.
Isn't it like 7 servings a day or something like that?
Yeah. My goal for me personally is 10. So, and I do that every single day, no matter what. Sometimes it's a smoothie and my smoothie is mostly vegetables, maybe a teeny bit of fruit, but that's just because I've adapted to that. Not everybody can start that way. They might think it's nice.
Yeah.
But I mean, you want to get like a variety of color in your diet from fruits and vegetables. And the reason being is those colors have these powerful, powerful nutrients in them that are going to be supporting that immune system. Obviously fruits and vegetables too, they're anti-inflammatory. And so that word inflammation, we've talked about it, that is the driver of all disease. And so you want to be supplying your body with something that's going to kind of suppress that effect. So your fruits, your vegetables, especially if you can get things like garlic, ginger, onions, herbs, those have even antimicrobial properties, meaning like antifungal, all that in them already. So it's like food, it's truly medicine when you're eating.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's one of I love picking your brain about so you're doing your fellowship in herbal medicine. What is like one of the most interesting things that you've learned as far as
Ooh.
I mean, anything. It could be anything. I was thinking every time I talk to you about that stuff, you're always telling me hey, did you know this? And I'm always like, what?
That's a really good question.
And you can think about it. We can come
I'll
back
think
to it.
Yeah, there are a lot of interesting things. And what's crazy and sad too with the world is that there are so many incredible properties to foods and to herbs and to nutrients and vitamins and everything, but they don't get studied very well. And so it's hard because obviously I have a license that I have to be doing good for people. So we can observe things and suggest that they might be beneficial to you, but not always is there a proven study some companies can afford for a medication, they can afford to dump all this money into testing something and proving this is what it's going to do. But with supplements and herbs and vitamins and things that have been around forever, they're just, nobody does that. So anyways, it's hard to really say, oh, this is like the perfect thing for you to take or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, when it comes to herbs and everything, I will say there is a ton of research behind curcumin, and it's like turmeric root. So you can actually eat turmeric root. You can take curcumin, especially for inflammation.
Yeah.
And so it is used. A lot of people ask me, what are some supplements that you can take? That is on my list of things. Okay. Although I will say, if you're on any medications, you should always talk with your doctor about indications if you should take something with something else. If you're on blood thinners or something, there are things you do not want to take.
Right. Yeah.
So,
for sure.
Yeah. But in terms of one of my favorite nutrients or what botanicals I should call it, curcumin is probably on the top of my list. So
yeah, I need to get back on that. So my husband hates cumin, so I never get to cook with it. And I like it, but he thinks it tastes like dirty socks. So I can't put it in chili. I can't, none of that. But yeah, so I need to start supplementing with that one.
Yeah. Every time I try to cook with turmeric, like I have this amazing recipe that I really want to make. It's like a lentil stew with turmeric and ginger, everything.
Well, I love
and
turmeric.
Curry.
Yeah, and he'll eat turmeric, but cumin.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, if you know how it smells up your house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like an instant. Oh.
Yeah, I know.
What are we having tonight? Good for you. Just eat it.
Yes. Yeah, I've said that before. Mm-hmm. I have made there's some really good like teas you can make with turmeric. I've made like it was so good. With coconut milk and
coconut milk.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. I think I put it on my Pinterest page. I need to make that again. Yeah.
But
I am here. Huh?
Because that would be perfect for right now because you're getting ginger, which is anti-inflammatory, the turmeric root or curcumin, and obviously like a coconut milk or almond milk or oat milk or something like that. That's non-dairy because again, inflammatory.
Right. You can talk about that too if you want. I have a lot of people ask me why I don't eat dairy, and I mean I try to explain it, but I'm not as good as you. But I know it's a controversial thing, so we don't need to go into that.
Anyway, so
I was gonna say something. I can't remember what it was. As it relates to athletes, like wouldn't more anti-inflammatory stuff be good for athletes because we're always inflaming?
Definitely, yeah.
So like it's a good recovery too. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Other supplements that okay. So first off, we talked about how it's hard for me to just generally say what supplements would be good, but there are that are generally recognized as safe, and so maybe the studies don't prove that they will prevent COVID or flu or getting a cold or whatever, but they're really not going to hurt most people. Again, talk to your doctor.
Right.
So vitamin C is definitely on the list.
Right.
They actually are using it in some ICUs for COVID for treatment in super high doses. Not something you would ever do at home. Like I said, do not do this at home. Yeah. But they're doing some observational studies. I know in China, they're currently using it in IV use on patients to see like if it's going to affect. But anyways, in terms of, vitamin C, it contributes to the immune defense. It supports your immune system in many ways. It's supposed to help increase your T lymphocytes. And so most studies don't actually show that it prevents illness, but like I said, it's not going to hurt. Mm-hmm. Vitamin C is used in so many different things in our body. So if you're not getting it from your foods by eating tons and tons of colorful fruits and vegetables, you should probably be taking a supplement. Probably. Also, see if you're a little bit constipated.
Yeah.
But it really helps. Yeah. Yes. And it's so you're not on Marilax or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Well, anyway. And also doesn't it help with the absorption of other nutrients too?
Yeah. Iron absorption. So if you're anemic and you don't already do some vitamin C with your iron, you probably should.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's another one, iron deficiencies. There's a lot of people are deficient in iron and don't know it. So I just had my blood work done just to get a baseline before I get into my harder training, because as a runner or endurance athlete, it's easy to get deficient in iron because of all of the training that you're doing. So if you are a runner or in endurance and you haven't had your iron levels checked, I would recommend getting them checked to make sure that they're healthy, because you don't want to get too low, because trying to get them back up is really hard, I guess. So
that, if you're just female and you have
and
periods,
female. Yeah.
you should probably get it checked.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the baseline. You know, that's what, you don't have to have a symptom to have a lab done. I would just bring it up with your doctor if you absolutely never had your ferritin or your iron storage checked.
Yeah.
I would probably bring it up just so you know where you're at. I mean, A, you don't want to supplement something you don't necessarily need.
Right. Yeah.
But B, if you are low and, you know, you may not have a symptom now, but you might soon.
Yeah.
So it'd be better to kind of ward that off. So yeah. Good that you did that.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'd had them checked in several years. In fact, I don't think I've ever had my ferritin checked. So
yeah.
I had it checked. It's good. But yeah.
Right. Right.
So what are some, I mean, supplements you would say for just the average person? I know you recommend getting most of your vitamins and minerals through food, but if you can supplement with something, what do you recommend that you take daily or whatever?
Well, for most people, you know, if we're talking about immune system, I do say vitamin C. I do say zinc. Zinc you have to be a little bit careful with. If you take it on an empty stomach, you're going to feel really terrible. It's so nauseating.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So that's a big thing.
Okay.
I will say, okay, so your body doesn't store excess zinc. You have to get it from your food. So, you know, if you're red meat, chicken, fish are kind of like the top sources of zinc. If you don't eat those, you're probably low.
Probably low. Okay.
So a multi with zinc in it would be advisable. Some people tend to overdo the zinc, especially right now, because it is kind of promoted as this immune booster, and it is. It actually, of course, controversially, they say that it doesn't help prevent illness, but it can help shorten illness.
Okay.
So take that for what it's worth. I like zinc for so many other things too, acne, hair loss, thyroid support. So in general, just taking something with a little bit of zinc in it would be good. If you're taking a lot of zinc, you have to be careful about pushing out the copper stores. So usually a zinc with like 1 milligram of copper in it. So if you're taking more than 30 milligrams of zinc, make sure you have a little bit of copper.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
I'm going to write that down. Copper with zinc.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one supplement I actually don't have, but I feel like I eat my fair share of protein and stuff, so I'm probably okay. But
probably doing fine.
Yeah. And I take a multivitamin. I think there's zinc in it. Don't multivitamins typically have zinc or not?
Some do, but not a lot of, like, you want to check the level. So I generally would say about 15 milligrams a day is probably about right for most people on the zinc.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about vitamin C? I think Misty just commented.
Yeah. I think 1,000 a day would be perfect for most people. Sometimes I push that limit for myself just for bowel regularity, but, and I just rate it according to that. But yeah, about 1,000 a day in addition to foods.
Okay.
Another question a lot of people have is about vitamin D.
Okay. Yeah. That was going to be mine.
So yeah, it's a huge, topic. So you should get your vitamin D level checked. Okay. The reason being is, first of all, vitamin D is toxic if you take too much of it. And so, yes, vitamin D is great for immune building, immune support, for hormones, for bone strength, but you need to know where you are. Unfortunately, most insurances do not pay for vitamin D levels. So in my opinion, I suggest you get it anyway. I think it's well worth it. Once a year, get it checked. For example, you know, obviously you can get vitamin D from food. You can also get it from the sun. I am a sun lover. I'm in the sun every day if I can, especially in the summer, but I have vitamin D deficiency. So I still have to take a supplement, but I didn't know how much I needed until I got my levels drawn. So it's just something I would, next time you guys are at your doctor's, I would say, hey, would you mind checking a vitamin D level? They want to because they know that it's going to be expensive or whatever, but I'd personally, if I were sitting watching this right now, I would say if you have never had it checked, I would get it checked. So yeah. So if your vitamin D level's low, you're going to be more susceptible to getting sick, to being depressed, to being tired, to having aches in your bones, to developing osteoporosis. I mean, there's so many problems.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So,
I need to get mine checked. I
Yeah.
haven't had mine checked.
Well, and for those people that can't afford to check it, you're probably safe taking around 800 to 1,000 a day of vitamin D in the winter, no
Okay.
problem, without worrying about being toxic. But you
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend going over that unless you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would deplete you of that? Like,
That's a great question. So
I'm sorry. I'm just curious.
no, well, a lot of people, so it's absorbed in your gut, basically, in intestinal lining, whatever. But sometimes there are things that block the vitamin D receptors.
Okay.
And so that would be one thing. But without getting into it, I mean, some people just don't absorb it as much as others.
Okay.
So
it's very individualized. So you got to get it checked.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I will get it checked.
Yeah.
And then you recommend, I assume, a multivitamin. What about like probiotics and things like that?
Yeah. More push probiotic foods.
Through your food?
Like,
okay.
Yeah, like sauerkraut. Not everybody likes that. Or fermented kombucha.
I like that. Yeah.
You know, things like that are fermented, so you're actually getting that. Yes, definitely there's a million different strains of probiotics out there, and I do prescribe probiotics for different things. But it's hard because unless you know what you're treating, certain strains help with certain things.
Oh, gotcha.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So in general, like I said, eat more foods that have
probiotic rich foods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And fiber, prebiotics.
Try to eat some. What's that?
I said, and fiber, like some prebiotics, lots of fiber.
Yeah. Fiber is huge, and a lot of people don't know why, but fiber is the food for the good bacteria in your gut. So sugar happens to be the food for the bad bacteria in your gut. So you want to make sure you are balancing that out, if that makes sense.
Misty just goes, is wine a good source? I was going to ask the same question, Misty. Yeah.
Sure.
Fermented, right?
Sure.
I call it a salad because it's
out for you
grapes.
tonight.
It's fruit. A fruit salad. Why not?
Oh shoot! Last time I had kombucha. This is I don't know why this happens, but does anyone else have this where I actually feel like I'm getting tipsy? I'm not even kidding you.
Wow.
It may just be in my imagination,
or
but
is your tolerance really low or something? Maybe there is a little alcohol in it, but that's funny.
I don't know. Very weird. Anyway, okay, off topic.
Interesting. Huh. I don't know. I don't think that's happened to me, but I'll ask. I know people that drink kombucha. I'll ask them.
So you said, multivitamins. Yeah, for the most part, I do recommend a multivitamin just because, I mean, anymore, the quality of food that we eat, even if we have a perfect diet, we're still probably lacking something. So really, I personally do, like I said, I do supplement with a lot of different things. I do believe in supplements, but I think, again, if you're not eating a healthy diet, you need to start there. Yeah. Like you cannot supplement to good health. You just can't.
And you can't outwork a bad diet.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, I definitely recommend a good one with your high quality B vitamins in there and everything, because you need those for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say that when you're looking at supplements, you want to make sure that they are labeled either with the stamp like the NSF or USP on.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's more regulated. They have to, so that, what that says is that company paid extra to have their product tested and so verified that what they say is in there is truly in there.
Okay, so what does it have to have again? Repeat that.
They're either NSP or it's NSF or USP.
Or USP. Okay, I'll put that in the comments if
Yeah.
people miss it and are curious.
So it'll be either like if you're ordering something from a website, it'll say it on the website, or if it's on the bottle,
Okay.
there'll usually be like a little emblem on there.
Okay.
Yeah, so that tells you, you can be assured that what you're paying for truly has what's in it. Because obviously supplements aren't FDA approved or whatever.
Yeah.
I did hear too, I mean, I'm not a huge proponent of buying supplements at just any regular store, but I'm not saying they're all bad, but they don't always check things very well. But I did hear that CVS just declared they are not allowing any supplements in there unless they have been verified.
Okay.
So, yeah,
just
promo for CVS, I guess.
Yeah.
I order mine on a company called Full Script, and so I know that there are higher quality ones usually. So that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're ordering off Amazon, beware.
Yeah. Look. Exactly.
Okay. Good to know. So I'm trying to think if are there any other supplements that you recommend before we
you know, I definitely like a lot of other things. NAC has been one I always have talked about, especially during flu season as a flu person. So it's N-acetylcysteine, if you're wondering what NAC or NAC, some people call it. But I just saw here just this month that the FDA has decided it's a medication. They just decided rather than a supplement. And so you may not be able to find it in the future. Just you might have to get a prescription for it. So the story behind NAC is it actually is used in the hospitals to, if someone overdoses on Tylenol, that's how it sucks it out of your liver.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's kind of weird. I know it was just in the news fairly recently. So, but I've used it for people for bronchitis, like chronic bronchitis, COPD patients. I definitely use it for anti-flu, or, for flu prevention. And then just in general to help support glutathione in the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is glutathione?
Well, that's a good question. So glutathione is a potent antioxidant that supports immune function and helps with medication and all these. It's uber important in our body. So that's why I usually would take NAC is just for that.
Okay. Well, and I remember when I had mine checked last year, mine was low, and you're like, you need to take NAC, and I couldn't figure out why, but this makes sense. I feel like mine was low, or you thought, I don't know if it was low, but you're like, you need to take this to support that. Yeah, last summer. Yeah. Well, and I take it, but I'm like, I try to explain it to other people, but I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and then, I mean, wouldn't that be good for like, if you're going to drink? Isn't it like?
Well, so in theory, that's what I always say, but I was actually trying to look that up the other day, and I look on this very conservative site just so I'm not like spouting off things that aren't researched or whatever, and they said there is no research behind that. I was like, damn it.
Okay, well, maybe it's more of a placebo effect.
Right. I think that's one of the things that the FDA is like, well, you can't say that it's going to help with that. Anyway, moral of the story is you may not be able to find it anyway. So I guess it's kind of a moot point.
Yeah, true. That's true.
Yeah. And asking if year round or NAC year round or just for flu. Both. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It has a lot of other properties to it. So both if you can. Sometimes it's actually in some of the higher quality, like multivitamins too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and then another one, quercetin, I use a lot for allergies, and I've seen it used a lot for COVID right now, just because it can help reduce the infectivity of viruses. Like it helps to block viral replication, and it's anti-inflammatory. Now, whether obviously, again, it's
not going to
studied.
cure it, but it's going to help the symptoms.
Yeah. So if you're just looking for things to take, that would be on my list as well. Okay. So vitamin C, D, zinc, quercetin, melatonin is another one when you have COVID.
I heard something about that a long time ago. Somebody was talking about that.
Yeah. Couple reasons why. In high doses, it is anti-inflammatory, and it's also been shown to help with reducing viral infections. So plus it's going to help you sleep, and we already talked about
the importance of sleep. Yeah.
So there's that. Yeah. Okay. So trying to think what else to tell you, but yeah, that's kind of in general.
That's great. And then this is an off the wall top question. So are there any supplements you recommend for hangovers?
Well,
I shouldn't even be asking. I'm like not even drinking this month, but you know, I know other people will ask. I'm just curious. How to detox your liver?
Well, first off, don't get that drunk.
That's true. Right. Drink lots of water.
Drink lots of water. Yeah. I always like to do kind of a tea the next day, and it's got a lot of liver support in it, and fennel and licorice root, and what else is in there?
Detox tea, right? That you take.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had it. It's not that good, but
no,
it has really like milk thistle in it too, right? That help detox your liver. Yeah.
So
for
what that
maybe would help speed it up a little bit. Who knows? Or just overall healthy for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So okay, we'll wrap it up. This was awesome. So tell us where you are and how to get in contact with you if people are in the same area that are watching and interested in a functional medicine practitioner and diving into a more all-encompassing lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah. So I am working at Sastun Direct. It's SASTUNDIRECT. So you can search us on online. I wish I could tell you our phone number, but I don't have it memorized.
But you're in Overland Park, right? Or that's in Overland Park.
Overland Park in Kansas. So it's 151st in Antioch. Okay. I work with Dr. Casey Tramp, and we have a great team, great health coach and everything. So we try to involve everything with stress reduction, nutrition, in more in-depth testing, like I said, for kind of trying to evaluate health stuff. So yeah, so I'm there. Come see me.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And I'll put Angela's info in the comments with like a link to your a link to your office, so people can schedule an appointment or whatever.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, and then if you have any questions, you've been watching, ask them in the comments, and I will get an answer for you. And I'll ask Angela if there's something I don't know that she can assist in. So, anyways, I think that's about it. Thank you for joining me. This was really kind of fun. We'll have to do it again on something else once you learn something else. Or if you think of a really interesting thing with that you've learned in the herbal supplement area, share it. But okay, that's it. So thanks for joining, and next week I have my good friend Carly Dobb on. We're going to talk about running and health, and we're going to talk a little bit about intermittent fasting paired with running and that sort of thing too. So that'll be a good one. But anyways, you guys, everybody have a good day. Thanks, Ange. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.